Alright guys, we're back and now it's time to work with our wire. This is 18 gauge steel wire, just a big spool of it. They do make cleaner versions. This one has some grease on it that is dark and black, so this may look a little dingier when we're done, but that's okay. You got that. You got your irrigation tubing. This is 25 feet of it. I don't think you'll need that much for this particular for the mini coaster, but that's what we've got. 25 feet of irrigation tubing. Again, you can also use ice maker tubing. It is clear. It has a little bit less texture on it, so it's smoother. That means the ball will roll a little bit faster with the ice maker tubing. The only drawback that I can tell is that the ice maker tubing is a little more expensive and you can see through it, so when the wire runs through the tubing, it doesn't look bad per se, but if there are any kinks or anything that you messed up or doesn't look great, you can see it through the tubing. So this is I believe it's a 5/8 inch, yep, 5/8 inch steel ball bearing. All of these things I got at either hobby stores or online. I'm pretty sure you can get these on Amazon. The irrigation tubing I got on Amazon. I know that you can get wire on Amazon. I'm not sure if I got this. This was just a general hardware store. Purchased the drill and the 16th inch bit. I also got on Amazon, but be careful because these are really skinny, and the cheaper the bit, the easier it is for it to snap. This is a really cheap bit, so the likelihood that I snap it here is not so bad. I might do that, so we'll see. Now, the way this works is you run the wire through the tubing, and that's what gives the tubing the memory that it needs. So if you want to do a loop or you want to make the track turn, you bend it a little bit and kind of train it in the direction you go, and the wire inside basically helps it hold its shape until you can anchor it down. So we've got that, and then we also have some coaster clips that go with this that are 3D printed, and if you need those, please let me know. Comment below. Alright, so this, obviously you want to cut with wire cutters and your ice maker tubing. You can cut with scissors. You can also cut it with a pair of tin snips or wire cutters as well. Either one is fine. This may put a little bit too much strain on your scissors, so yeah, you might want to think about that before you do it. Now, what we're doing basically is relatively a very short track. So we want to do one track that does a loop. It will come down here and basically touch on the 2x4, and we use this as a structure to kind of hold the loop, and then the end of the track is basically right here, and it dumps into the little reservoir. So you don't need a ton of track. One of the things you can do to sort of guesstimate what you're going to need is you can sort of hold the track up and run it the way that you want it to go. Because this is a loop, I'm going to start at this end and kind of tighten it up like that and go, okay, well that's probably way more than I'm going to need, so that'll be good. And just to show you can do this with scissors, I'll do it with scissors. I don't think it's going to hurt them too bad. So let's see here. And then you get a second piece that is the same length. This is because for every piece you cut, you need two, because they are the rails of your track. So, and you'll end up trimming this up, so if they're not exactly the same length, that's okay. Now, the next thing you do is you need to run wire through this. So we'll take some of our 18 gauge wire and bum, bum, bum. On longer pieces, you have to be careful that you don't get the wire kinked, because eventually there's so much friction that happens inside the tube that is very difficult to push it any further anymore. So I'll leave about 1.5 inches, 2 inches on either end. We'll snip this guy off, and then what you want to do on one end is you want to take your needle nose pliers. You want to basically curl this over and double it over like so. You can see all the grease coming onto my hands here, which it gets everywhere. So choose a cleaner wire if you can. That would be my suggestion. Now you pull on this end. Basically what you're doing is this is stopping the wire from going back through the tube. So you do just sink it in there a little bit, and that's good for one. Let's prep another. Alright, looks like we're good on that end. Again, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that. Bend this feller over halfway, squeeze it tight, and push it down in the irrigation tubing. There we go. So it doesn't slide off. Alright, there we go. The loop needs to curl out to the outside, not into the support post. So you want the ball to carry around and over this direction. Okay, very, very important that you do that. And then you don't want to crimp the ice maker tubing or the irrigation tubing. So it's a little bit of a dance to not overdo it, but you want it to be tight enough so that the ball has the momentum to carry through the loop. If the loop is too big, the ball will not carry through. And so I'm going to overtrain this, and the wire helps a little bit, but it doesn't do all the work for you. So it helps to overtrain it just a wee bit. So I'm actually doing 2 loops, even though I know I'm going to pull this out. And keep it to 1 loop. So there, we're at a really, really good place here. I'm going to bend this wire over there and this wire over there, and then we're going to feed it through and wrap it around. Like so. It's pretty good. Again, you can make this a little bit higher than the dowel rod, and that will give you a little bit more height, which is never a bad thing when you're trying to get enough speed to make it through the loop. And then I just hand tighten this by basically wrapping it around the dowel rod. Now you do, it is possible to put too much force onto this and snap your dowel rod, because the wire has, the hole that you drilled weakened it, and then the wire has quite a bit of torque on it when you're doing this. So you got to be careful. There are some tolerances you've got to stay within, or it will snap. So just something to think about. I'm going to try and pinch that close to the dowel rod. These are sharp after you cut them, so you don't want them hanging out too bad so that you don't accidentally scar yourself for life. There we go. Alright, so we got those holes, and what we'll do is we'll run a wire through our coaster clip, and then it will clip on to our irrigation tubing. So yeah, we're getting close here. Let me go get some coaster clips. I'll be right back. So the way you want to do this, you want to get a little bit of wire here, enough to make kind of like a staple. So we'll go like this. And I think that's good. And we want to make it to be about as far apart as these holes are, if you can see that. I don't know if that's easy to see or not, but we'll grab it right about there and bend this guy in the same direction. So you got like what looks like a little staple. Alright, you're going to run these little guys through the coaster clip, like so. Get it all the way through. You might even take your pliers and squeeze it in there a little bit just to get it to lock in. So we want to kink this out this side, and then, because we're going to work it over to the side just a little bit, hold that there and bring that over. Then we're going to kink this guy like so. And let's see what we get here. Push that down. Okay. So that's pretty good. That's going to hold the track here in a second. Let's go ahead and wrap this around the dowel rod to make it more solid. Like so. You want this as rigid as possible, as little play as possible. Will make it much easier to work with. If you've got any kind of play whatsoever, it's can be a nightmare trying to get it to work consistently. So this wire usually will hold excellently, so it's not a problem as long as you twist it tight enough. Okay, so that's going to go like this, and we're going to clip this feller in there and clip this feller in there. Now we need a clip on here to keep this track apart. Let's see if this is the good. Some of these clips are a little skinnier than others. They don't. These are kind of all the prototypes until we got it working just the way we wanted. So some of them may not fit the tube as well. So not all of them have the holes in them for the wire. So they still work and everything. It's just a matter of talking them into working. Oh, this is a good one right here. Okay, now this loop is probably too big, but we'll see. And if it is, what we do is we just kind of pop that down. Yep, just like that. Until we're happy. Let's get that to where we're happy. Yes, I think we're getting close to happy. All right, now before we get too far, I want to grab a pool noodle or piece of pool noodle. I want to glue it down here for my kind of stop cup. So I'm going to take this, and I don't need too much, maybe like a couple of inches. I'm going to do my best to cut a straight line. That is not the easiest thing to do with pool noodle, but we'll give it a shot. And then we're going to hot glue that onto our base. Let's see how we do. See if we get the happy. Now I'm going to carve around the inside of this to make it a little bit of a funnel. That's going to help the ball when it goes in there to fall down into the hole as desired. Let's see. Yeah. Put a couple of holes right around in here. There's one. There's two. Okay. And we're going to want to twist it a little bit, and we will probably want some hot glue where those wires meet up, and maybe a little bit where the plastic joins the wood. Hey, we're getting close. There it is. Maybe this will work. We'll see. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip this guy out of here because I'm just not happy with the way it's holding the wire, and I think that is it's not holding the tube away from the dowel rod. It's too close, and so I think I need to get a longer piece of wire to solve that problem, plus a new piece of wire since this one is all bent up. And that's normal to have times of problem solving. It just usually doesn't happen on the little coaster so much, but that's fine. Now let's see if we can do this, because we want it to hold the top of this guy, but stay away from the dowel rod so that it can actually hold the coaster clip, because that's the whole point. Okay. We don't need a ton, but that should hopefully, famous last words, do the trick. we loving life? Yeah, that's a little bit better. At least it's adjustable. Oh yeah. There. I added this clip right here to hold this track consistent, its width consistent, because it was getting really wide there, and now it seems to be working pretty consistently. Of course, this wasn't clipped, so I didn't expect that to work, but the loop itself, yes. I think I'm going to take that out, and basically we just hot glue it on here and get this to kind of jump into there. Probably have to tweak it a little bit so it kind of wants to dump out like that. And let's see what we get. Yep, there you go. So that's kind of how that works, and then you trim off the ends of your track like so and like so, and then this side is done. Thank you so much for watching part 2 of 3 of the mini marble coaster tutorial. There's one more part that involves making a serpentine track, and there are some key elements to help you do that I look forward to teaching you about. Please make sure to like this video. That really helps us out, and please also share this with anybody looking for a really cool art project to do. Thanks again so much, and have a great day.